We're going to talk about Dug McDaniel, but
Go
first,
blue.
okay, first let's address where we've been. Where we've been MIA for the last week and a half, a little bit. Cart and I were on the road, college hoops to go, coming to a campus near you if you are in a Big Ten campus, that is. Lincoln, Nebraska, 2 nights, saw Purdue almost lose at Nebraska and then immediately get crowned the best team in the country. Still haven't figured that one out. And then saw Wisconsin steal a win at Iowa with a couple guys hurt at Iowa one night in Iowa City. Fun trip. Stay tuned for that episode in January. Always fun to be in a car with Carter Elliott for 12 hours. Learned this guy is the best driver ever. Like, I don't know that there's anybody on earth that could drive as long or as consistently well as you did, Cart.
Just built different, and that's at 6'7" too, folks. Like, I get it done.
Like, I hit you multiple times with like you want me to tap in? You were like, I'm good. I'm like, okay, special.
not gonna fight you.
Special. Also, can we just address you have a new job? Congrats.
Thank you. I'm a writer. That's crazy for everyone who thought that I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to be that with the pen. I'll be doing a little bit of writing here and there for rivals, Spartans. Doing like game breakdown stuff, probably some film breakdown. And I'm always gonna be truthful and honest on there. So just let that be known.
When's the first piece drop?
My first piece is supposed to drop. Actually, let me check the Slack message right now. Now I feel like a real writer because I'm in a Slack message.
That's big. That's
real.
massive.
That's the real deal. My first piece will be releasing Monday, actually.
Oh, I can't wait. Congratulations, my friend. You brought it up in the car to me on the first trip, and I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. You got to do this. Not that you weren't going to do it necessarily, but Rival's a big deal, man. So, but also just to throw this out there, because I got a couple people like who heard this somehow and then messaged and asked what it meant. This does not affect sleepers, as far as I know, in any way. We're still doing our thing. If anything, this is just a step forward.
That's kind of good. We're here, Gregory. I guess we might as well address it. We're gonna have like the Canva thumbnail. Carter leaving sleepers. No, does not affect anything with sleepers. Sleepers is still a go. Just gonna be doing some writing as well.
You've watched too many good golf videos. You just want the controversy now.
we address the situation. Also, yeah. I guess we got to talk Michigan, but goddamn, man, Micah and Grant are golfing good.
All right, nobody's here for that. Go watch Good's channel. Why are we plugging Good right now? Let's talk about Dug McDaniel, my favorite player ever. All right, as Laval Jordan referred to him on After Dark last week, Little Dougie. He called him Little Dougie twice. I asked him just one question on air. What should we expect from Doug in a larger role with Llewellyn out? Is he going to be all right? And he smiled and said, Lil Dougie's going to be okay. And then told me why and referred to him as Lil Dougie again. Well, he was more than okay, Cart. 15 points, 3 for 3 from 3-point range, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, the highest offensive rating of anybody on the team, the highest offensive rating a Michigan point guard has had this season. And no coincidence, Michigan was up 20 points for the entirety of this game until very late in the game when they had some bench guys in and Minnesota cut it a little bit down. But long story short, Michigan has a point guard. I'm ready to say it. And you can tell me I'm crazy if you want. I'm going to throw it to you in just a second. But I said a month ago, I thought Doug would win the job from Jalen Llewellyn. I didn't want it to go down like this. But I have seen enough Jalen Llewellyn when he was healthy to know he was never going to do this. Doug was getting 8 minutes off the bench. You could see the reads on the court that were special. He just was sped up and playing like he had to hit a grand slam in the 1 minute he was on the court every time. He was trying shit that was never going to work. And I don't know if you know this, Cart, little baseball analogy here. It's easier to hit singles when you're locked in the leadoff spot and you know you're going to get 4 or 5 at bats in a game than it is if you pinch hit with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth down 3. That's what we saw from Dug McDaniel in this game. He knew he was not going to check out. He just made the solid play start to finish. And I am so excited at the prospect of Michigan having a guy who's going to be here for 4 years. I don't know if you know this. He's small. He ain't going anywhere. And if that's what you get from Michigan for 4 years, Michigan's a factor in the Big Ten again. Tell me that I'm wrong and I need to slow down.
Tell me that I'm wrong. Okay, Rob Douster Jr., tell me that I'm wrong. Good Lord, I got to watch. Make sure you don't. And that baseball reference, I'm just going to have to trust you on that because I'm not a baseball fan like that. So I'm just going to go ahead.
It was a fire reference. It was
It
a
was
fire.
okay. I'm going to trust you. It sounded well thought out. And look, for all the things that I've said on previous like Supers episodes about Doug being tiny, being a freshman, blah blah blah, all that. There's things about Doug that you can't teach. Like that guy is a actual like dog, like not a fake dog either. Like that guy competes, and what he might lack in size, he's a guy who's not afraid. Like he went into that. Okay, granted, it's against Minnesota. Like we already pointed out, Minnesota being one of the worst teams in Big Ten that we might have ever seen, not just this year. But he went into his first start with no fear and was able to produce. And this is the one thing. Obviously, we hate injuries. We hate what happened to Jalen. Like that sucks. He finally gets his opportunity to play at a high major D1, and this knee injury happens. That sucks. But looking on the positive side of that, when injuries happen, it gives chances for guys like Dug McDaniel to step up. And you know I love a good guy stepping up story. Like that's something I can actually get behind. And it hurts me to say this, but it was impressive seeing what Doug did. It was. It was because I was ready to pray on his downfall. Now, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. Obviously, he can be a good player. You're over here already going like 4 years down the line. He's going to be like just like this great Michigan point guard.
Uh-huh.
It was Minnesota, G.
Yep.
It was Minnesota.
Yep. Uh-huh.
We just got off another recording where you told me that Minnesota is the worst Big Ten team you've ever watched in Big Ten basketball history.
Yes, they are. But
Okay.
Jalen Llewellyn might be the worst Big Ten point guard I've ever seen in Big Ten history. Shout out
Stop
Jaron
it.
Simmons. It's close.
Stop
It's
it.
close. It's close.
Don't disrespect Marcus Carr like not kidding.
I'm just here's the thing. If Jalen Llewellyn was in this game, and I'm just piling on the guy at this point, but I can use unnamed names if you'd like me to. If Doug McDaniel wasn't in a big role in this game, I think it's a dogfight. And I think Minnesota's that bad.
That point I disagree with. It would not have been a dogfight.
They would not get nearly the offensive flow that they got without Doug. I mean, you can go back, look at box scores, look at game flow stuff. Every single game for the last month, they've started slow. Like I'm talking down 6 points by the first media timeout slow. And that includes games against Ohio. That includes games against Eastern Michigan. That includes every game they've played this season. They start slow with the starters. And then you bring in an entire bench lineup because Joanne does hockey line shifts. And it's like that's never going to work either. Doug with those guys on the bench was a disaster. The one thing we hadn't seen in extended minutes was this little point guard with the starters. And then all of a sudden we see it. And what do you know? They jump out to a 10-point lead immediately. You also kept saying you love a good step up story. Was that a height joke for Doug? Because if kudos.
It wasn't, but I wish I should have just took credit for that.
That was good. That was really good. So what from this game from Doug do you think is sustainable, and what do you think was just an aberration? 15 points, 7 assists to 2 turnovers, 3 threes made, no misses.
I think the turnovers is something that's going to be higher throughout the year. The jumper really didn't look that bad. I actually promised you, Greg, a couple episodes ago that I would lock in more to Michigan basketball games. I took credit saying that I wasn't as locked in as I needed to be. And Doug's jumper isn't like broken necessarily. Like I don't see anything like with form or anything like that. Obviously, this was like the first game I think or the first like stretch of games where I really like locked in, and obviously we see a bigger sample size with him. So I just need like a couple more games of Doug to kind of really go all out there on where I'm at with him. But the fact of the matter is the actual product on the court from what we saw, that was the best Michigan has looked this year.
Yeah.
Even though it was against Minnesota.
Yeah. I think I agree with you on turnovers. I do think he can be a high assist guy. Like he kind of has to be by default now.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like that constitutes guys knocking down shots.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I also think there's something to the fact that they shot well from 3 off of Doug McDaniel. Like
can Doug play off the ball at all?
A little bit. Like Kobe's still going to get a lot of opportunities. I think they're.
I love the idea of point guard Buffkin. Honestly,
he looked really good too. Like lost in all
yeah.
of this while we're praising Doug is the fact that like Kobe had to play point guard the 13 minutes that Doug wasn't on the floor. And he did a great job with it. This was the best Kobe Buffkin game of the year to me. He had 15 points as well, 4 assists to only 1 turnover. He was only 1 for 1 from 3, but the important thing to me was he took 10 shots from 2, and they were good ones, and he made 6 of them. That hasn't happened all year. I think that's more his game. Like, we don't need Kobe to be a 5 attempts a game guy from 3 unless they're good ones. If he can get to that little mid-range pull-up, he looks really, really smooth from the elbow on that, get to the rim and finish a little more than he has been. I like where he's at right now. Doug, the thing with Doug that I still think nobody really knows, like, it looks great right now and everybody's a little, I hope it keeps up. I don't know whether I should trust it or not. He's 43% from 3 on the season, 6 for 14. Now, he was in the 20s before this game. You go 3 for 3 and you've only shot 11 on the season. It's going to up it pretty quickly. But he's 4 for 5 from free throw, 80, a small sample size. But like, I don't know. I kind of buy the kid's shot, Cart. I kind of do. Like, most of these threes that he's taken this season have been the off the dribble variety. Like, they have not been wide open catch and shoots. You just look like you're ready to explode with laughter right now.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, everything with Doug McDaniel is a small sample size.
Okay. I hate you. I hate you. Okay, can
You
we
know,
at least do this? Like, the height jokes are one thing. Him having a good game finally as a starter, that's another thing. But like, the main reason I'm so excited about Doug, Cart, and you can tell me if this is wrong or if I'm crazy as a fan for just doing this. I'm going to go full fanboy though for a second. Doug McDaniel's really fucking fun. He's fun. Like, when is the last time?
No, that's my takeaway from this. Even Doug McDaniel, I think at his worst, let's say whatever that might be, like Doug McDaniel's worst at 30 minutes, I think is going to still be better and more fun than what Jalen Malone is going to give you.
Yeah. And like, no offense, but that hasn't always been the case with Michigan basketball teams lately at the guard spot. Like, shout out Eli Brooks. The man was so stable and came up big in taking them to Sweet 16 after Sweet 16. He was boring as hell. Like, it was never that fun to watch Eli Brooks. It's not been fun to watch Devontae Jones for 3 months. It's not been fun to watch Mike Smith for 3 months, even though I really liked Mike Smith. Like, I want some dude that's like a no-brainer. I love that guy. And even going back to Xavier Simpson, it was hard for me to get on board with that. He had so many limitations.
You're bored with the Michigan State point guard. You want a little you want a little spice.
Oh my God, I hate you. I want some sauce is what I want, Cart. I want some dog McSpaniel. I want some Doug. I want some Nasir. What did I text you? I think in the moment I was a little high on Doug, but I think I threw an Allen Iverson comp out there.
Yeah, and I want everyone to know I threw that back in your face.
I still don't hate it. The swagger he plays with, the swag, man. Come on.
Iverson was 6'3", by the way.
I can't believe you're yawning right now in the middle of this.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sorry. That's bad by me.
All right, let's end with this. Doug McDaniel is a top blank point guard in the Big Ten right now.
What are we calling Tyson?
A shooting guard.
Yeah, so Hogarth's a point guard. Okay.
Hogard, Pickett, Tony Perkins, Chucky Hepburn, Boo Booey. Let me see who else here. I don't know who you'd call from Ohio State, really.
He's probably better than the point guard from Ohio State.
Xavier Johnson.
Not better than him.
Jameer Young.
Not better than him. Honestly, Doug's not that. As excited as you are, he's a bottom tier point guard still in the Big Ten.
His game against Minnesota was one of the best games any point guard's had in the conference this year.
Any point guard who plays Minnesota this year is going to have a great game.
Can we clip that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, God forbid. You would have said the same about Northwestern. I'm not sure that was very true a couple weeks ago in East Lansing. We'll see. All right, flipping that final question. 4 years from now, it's 2026. It's March of 2026. Doug McDaniel is a top blank point guard in the Big Ten.
2026.
Doug's senior year.
Top 5.
That's all I can get is 5?
Top 5. That's good.
Doug's the best point guard in the Big Ten in
Oh,
4 years. In 4 years, he is.
No, he won't.
The man's Tyler Eulis with more swag and better stuff.
I think you forgot who Jeremy Fears is.
Oh, you mean your 5th string point guard next year?
Jeremy Fears is better than Doug McDaniel right now.
That's not true at all.
That is true.
That's not true at all.
Very true.
What are you going to do with all these guards, by the way? Like, where does Trey Holloman go? What does Jaden Akins? Does Jaden Akins play the 4 next year? And we wonder why he can't shoot and why he's not playing well?
The segment isn't about us. You're having a little fit right now.
Honestly, next year maybe you should start Jaden Akins at center. He'd be more productive than Mahdi, except he'd probably like step on someone's foot and break because he's made of glass. I don't know. Just food for thought. You could think about it.
He could take some tips from your center and start podcasting.
Maybe he should. Shout out Hunter, in case you're listening. We had a nice little exchange. Should we tell the people about our exchange with Hunter, by the way, or no?
No, I'm pissed because Hunter didn't put our voice message on the episode. So until he puts our episode on the round ball episode, then I'm not commenting.
So Hunter's on across enemy lines for you still?
Yeah, just throw our voice message out there. Acknowledge us. Act like you hear us.
He responded to us personally. I feel like that's better acknowledging than throwing us on an episode.
Yeah, but we let Marty Mush have it. I want that to be.
You're right. Marty Mush is the enemy, not Hunter, though.
Yeah, no, Hunter's not the enemy. Marty Mush is the enemy, though.
And Jordan Bohannon, who never responded to any requests while we were in Iowa City.
Carver's awesome.
Carver's awesome. Stay tuned. College hoops to go. Doug McDaniel, best point guard in the Big Ten in 4 years. Carter Elliott, now a writer. Goodbye.
This is what we're coming to.